Well, do you want his pre-flight? Should we do his pre-flight?
I do. I would love a
All right.
pre-flight, actually.
Tom, before we get going, can you give us a pre-flight?
Yes. Pearson Traffic, this is 901 Alpha at Hangar 10, which is also the pilot's lounge. We're about to taxi out to runway 25, Pearson.
There you go. You need a weather report. If I could give you the weather report, I'd repeat it back. But with that, folks, welcome back to Beyond the Weekend. I'm your host, Amy Ruth, and we've been spending the last several weeks doing campus highlights, just interviewing different campus pastors, inviting different campus pastors on. I'm already tripping all over my words with interviewing, but what does it matter? We've been having the campus pastors come through and then just different guests from the campuses to tell the stories of how God is at work in and through people here at New Heights. It's been super fun. So with us today, we've got Paul Heath, producer Paul.
Hello.
We've got Tom Flagg, our special guest, a legacy member of New Heights. We'll get to Tom's story here in a minute. And we've got campus pastor Corey Hancock.
Greetings.
Hot dog, hot diggity dog. We got
hello.
Corey Hancock here. Listen, this is our only campus pastor that exclaims hot dog.
Hey.
I'll go with that. Mustard, ketchup, and relish with mine, please.
There we go. Listen, if you go back to last week's message, Corey, do you know that how many times you said it? Do you know what the hot dog count was?
No.
It was 3.
3.
The hot dog count was 3. And then Thursday night at Service Host,
Yeah.
you hit another one, and I was just like,
Oh,
this
man.
is good. He is officially our hot dog, hot
You
diggity
know,
dog.
JC said something after Thursday night. She goes, I think you said that in your message a few times too. And I said something to the effect of, I could have said worse things, so.
It's absolutely true. However, the hot dog count is now a thing, so
Okay.
we'll be keeping track.
Congratulations.
Thanks, Tom. Thank you.
All beef. Remember, it's all beef. hot
All
dogs.
beef, all
Yeah.
beef. Listen, we got Tom Flagg and Corey here, and it's very fun. It is campus pastor. It's kind of the official reason you're here. It's the campus highlight.
Yes.
You're also the children's pastor, and we've got Tom, and that is part of Tom's story. Tom has been walking in the doors of Central Vancouver campus for 40 or 50
57 years since
57
1966.
years.
Yep.
Okay, but when do you think you started teaching 4th and 5th grade boys? We're going to get into this more, but
I would say about 68, 69. I team taught with my wife. My wife and I.
okay,
we were
with
team.
Linda. Okay,
Yeah, for a while.
so 50-some years. Tom's been walking
Yeah.
in the doors with a briefcase. We
Yes.
got Paul and I are the odd people out here. We're neither one of us have the special name tags they have on because it's Sunday morning. We're here right after service in the studio Sunday morning. They both just came straight from their kids' classrooms. It's not the only thing you guys have in common, though. You also have a love for cars.
Yes. Yes. So I had heard so much about this Tom Flagg and what a great, faithful servant he was. And I saw that right off the bat. But then I also saw him pull in one summer day in this really sick classic Mustang. And I was like, I really need to get to know this guy. So I approached Tom and asked all things Mustang to him. And so tell us a little bit about your car.
A little bit about the car. Well, it was my daughter's college car, Susan. We have 2 daughters, Susan and Doreen. And she drove it back to Minneapolis. She went to Bethel College. The snow in the winter was just a little bit too much for her. So when she came back with it, she says, Dad, why don't you just take control of the car? So I've had it in the garage for about 30 years and been fixing it up over the years. Yeah.
Yep. And I had the honor to drive this car.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
I don't know, was this last spring maybe?
Yep.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Played hooky a little bit, you know. I stepped out of a class, left kids all by themselves.
On Sunday morning?
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding.
1 and 2-year-olds, I hope. I'm just like, well, we'll figure it out.
I was in the hallway and Tom's like, hey, come on out. I gotta show you this. And so, yeah, he let me drive that. And
That's
I mean,
fun.
it's all car, you know. It's
Yeah.
not, it's an old one. It's
Yes,
fun.
Dustin had a 74 Bronco when we
Oh,
were
yes.
first dating, and I had to drive that thing a time or two, and it's exactly what you said. You're like just jerking the steering wheel to try to go straight, kind of thing. But Corey, you're not the only one playing hooky. This summer, Corey has a Jeep. Do people know this on the podcast, Paul? Has anybody ever talked
didn't
about the
know
Jeep?
that.
I don't think we've talked about the Jeep
Oh,
yet.
brother.
Oh.
Paul, well, you have several cars. I don't
Wow.
even know. Corey's
Corey's
changing
got like
cars.
80
He's
cars.
always changing them out.
What?
But he has a Jeep that's, what do you call it, a convertible or a topless or something?
Yeah.
Something. You
Yeah.
can remove the thing. So in the middle, in summer when it was beautiful weather, you'd see that thing cruise out of the parking lot, but Corey was not ever in it. It was like he would just let staff members, when you're going to lunch, he'd give you the keys. So you had a more luxurious
Corey never
lunch
gave me the
experience.
keys.
I'm
What?
glad you cleared that up. I thought it was remote control. It was
Oh, no,
No.
it was
No,
real.
no.
It was just
Real
like
deal.
I'd see Megan Unruh cruising out or Gabrielle driving out
Yep.
Natalie and I took it for a short little spin, and it's a good time.
Yeah.
Paul, are you a car guy?
No.
I'm thinking, like, I think I know the answer to this, but
tell me about the Camry.
I was going to say, I mean, I used to valet and I used to drive a lot of really nice cars, and that's when I pretended to be pretty into cars. But if you talk to me for 5 seconds about cars, it's pretty obvious I don't know anything. And I enjoy driving anything. I actually love good cars with character, like an old Camry or a Ford Aerostar van or a Toyota Tercel. Cars that really
that was my
speak to
first
you.
car, a Toyota Tercel.
Yeah.
Little
Yeah,
manual.
it's a good time.
And,
You want to know the latest car that JC was rolling her eyes at me wanting to get?
Yeah.
Is a 1989 Toyota Camry wagon.
Okay.
It's called an all-track, so it's a four-wheel drive. It's from Japan, imported from Japan, but it was like $3,000. I'm like, that I could take that thing up to the mountain. Four-wheel drive,
Right side drive?
it was still left side, ironically,
Okay.
weird, but yeah, it was super cool, vintage, just like a car that you get into and you're just all of a sudden in that era. Like it
A
just
time capsule.
Yeah.
Your hands, you've been wrenching.
trench digging.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
this
one or
is-
the other. Here's the thing. I was
I'm gonna hide my
Dustin.
hands.
No,
Jeepers.
oh man, now I'm gonna get roasted for that. I don't do hand inspections. However, I know Corey does wrench often.
Yep.
And Dustin, in a previous life, he ran his dad's automotive shop, and so I recognize those hands. So
That's
sometimes
right.
when I see Corey's hands, I'll be like, oh, what were you
Yep.
working on?
Yeah.
Thanks for pointing out my poor hygiene.
No, come on.
I
Listen.
Now it's been weeks since
I've
I worked
got-
on a car.
I've got chip nail polish, so there we go. We'll all be vulnerable.
I did
here
want to
with her.
ask this. Take a poll here.
Yes.
Who? I mean, you know how to drive a stick. You can drive a manual. That's what your Mustang is. Do you know how to drive one?
Yeah, my dad insisted that first car was a manual.
Okay. So you could hop in right now.
I could.
drive the Mustang.
We'll probably jerk around a little bit, time or two until I like.
Okay.
But yes, I could. Yep.
Paul.
Yeah, the Tercel was a stick.
Yeah. And being a valet, you gotta.
Yeah, it's funny. It was a requirement for being a valet, but you'd be surprised how many valets kind of learned on other
Dude.
people's cars.
Ruined
Yeah.
everyone's clutches.
Yeah.
See, that's why I would never want
Yeah.
a really, really
Yeah.
nice car and hand those
Oh,
keys over.
boy.
Like,
Yeah.
But also, to be fair, I mean, there's nothing harder than like thinking you know how to drive a stick and then driving a lot of higher end stick shift cars can be pretty different and
Yeah.
pretty hard.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
shorter clutches. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, our little classic car, there's something kind of unique about it. It was shipped to Vancouver brand new. So
Wow.
this is its home.
Okay.
That's cool.
This is the home. And we put a 5-speed in it
Okay.
and took the 3 out and 5. It's a lot of fun driving a 5.
Okay, Tom. Let's just launch right in. That's the question. How long have you been in Vancouver?
Since
Hey, Tom, do you mind talking right on the mic?
Oh,
Just
sure.
pull it closer.
Listen, here's the thing. Tom, we're gonna get to this too. Tom's a pilot, and he can't be bothered. He needs his David Clarks with the microphone attached.
green,
then
DC,
exactly.
individual volume
Yeah.
controls.
Those are headphones?
Oh,
Yeah, he's
boy.
like he doesn't know what's going on that we have these extra mic things.
I need the
Yeah.
noise attenuation. No more passive stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so we came up here in 1966,
Okay.
from Klamath Falls.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you were how old are you when you came out to Vancouver?
Okay, how old?
66.
Let's see, how old? After that, how old was I?
don't know.
26, 27,
26. Okay.
28,
All right,
in
mid
that
20s.
area. Yeah,
Newlywed. Yeah. Okay.
Well,
so
we've been
where?
there
So you
for
grew up in Klamath Falls.
No, grew up in Massachusetts.
Okay. So tell us your childhood
little
and walk us
story.
up to how you
Yeah.
met Jesus.
Okay. I grew up in Massachusetts, North Oxford, Mass. Grew up in a few foster homes, and the last one kept me for 9 years, my
Wow.
sister and myself. They were so nice. They took us to it was an all-Catholic community there in North Oxford, Mass. Took us to a little church called North Oxford Baptist Church. And that's where I received the Lord.
Wow.
The pastor himself was my teacher. We had an all-boys class.
Okay.
It was a small church. I received the Lord there. I enjoyed going to vacation Bible school in the summer. Really looked forward to that. And I remember doing flannel graph in front of everybody.
Okay.
I am the vine, ye are the branches. Ye. See, I'm quoting the old
Yeah.
King James.
Yes,
Can't help
yeah,
it.
Yep.
John 15:5.
It was Catholic and Catholic community.
Community, and we were, I
But
think, the
the-
only Protestant family in
So
town.
prior to that foster home,
Yeah.
had you had any religious, just
No,
Catholic,
no.
possibly cultural? Or?
No, I went into the homes when I was 2 and got
Okay.
out when I was 14 or 15, 14.
Wow,
So
okay.
I know none at all. So
Okay.
I give a lot of credit to the Gerard family I
Yeah,
live with.
that's amazing, Tom. And you and your sister traveled through all these homes together?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Then she went on to Bob Jones University, and I stayed in the family. I met Linda on the school bus. She lived in a little village up the street, so we traveled together to the same school. I met Linda 76 years ago in the first grade.
Oh, my goodness.
We've been married 64 years.
Wow.
Oh man, am I getting old?
See, I'm telling you, legacy. We called you a legacy member of New Heights. You're actually just a legend. Is
Can
what
you believe I used to have brown hair? But anyways,
There's still a hue of it.
we rode the bus together. We were in the first grade together. Went through all the classes. Graduated in the same class in high school. I dated her the last year of high school, and then I went into the Air Force. A year later, went back and married Linda. We started our family. We were in the service with our
Okay.
family down.
Okay.
That's when we went to Klamath Falls. I was stationed in Klamath
Okay.
Air Defense Command. And then I joined an Aero Club, an Air Force Aero Club, became a commercial pilot, multi-engine land, qualified for United.
Hold on. You just let everybody. He just said he's a multi-engine pilot.
Yeah,
And land. What does land mean?
land only.
Land only,
Not
not
sea.
floats.
Not
yeah.
sea, yeah.
Here's the thing: I'm married to a pilot, and it is another language. Tom Dustin sometimes would come home and tell me things like, "In English, please." You gotta. It's just you guys. You love your acronyms. Pilots love their acronyms.
We love
but-
to go ADSB out and
Yeah.
ADSB in. So report over Vancouver Lake. Oh, no, I'm not there yet.
No, you're not. We're back. We're still on the ground here. He's giving us.
Where am I?
This is good.
I'm at altitude. Okay, so we came. Okay, so, oh, by the way, we got out of the Air Force, and I was in farming. Weren't you a John Deere, a tractor guy?
Yes.
Didn't you deal in tractors?
Yes, that is
What?
my little side hobby.
Corey, do I know this? You sold tractors?
I flipped them. Like I'd buy and sell them.
This is brand new news, and when Dustin hears this, he'll
I
be
think we
coming for
talked
ya.
about it on a podcast. Did you not listen to
Oh,
that podcast?
okay, well,
Corey rides his John Deere in once a week. Amy, have you not seen
I
the
missed
John Deere?
that. Listen, I've already stated that the scariest thing about this podcast is that people do listen.
Yep.
Because you think you're
Yeah.
just talking in a room, and then all of a sudden someone walks up to you. And so get ready, Tom. People are going to come up and ask you about the Mustang, and you're going to think, I've never met you before. But
I want to
you're gonna
talk
find
green and yellow right now.
out. Okay.
What,
John Deere.
920, is that one model?
No, most of what I did were 200, 300, 400 series. So garden tractors.
Okay.
Like from, yeah.
Okay, in New England, you run a lot of hilly stuff, so we
Yeah.
had to have the wide gear in the front.
Yep.
So I learned how to drive in high school on that thing, a Ford and a Farmall. I
Yeah.
love that so much. So got involved in farming.
And this is in Klamath Falls that you're
No,
farming.
this is in Massachusetts.
Sorry,
I got
okay.
involved in
Okay,
farming.
when you're back from the service, you get involved.
Asked my foster mother one day at 13, can I go up and get a job at a farm?
Okay.
She says, be careful, watch the traffic. Jumped on my bike, rode at the farm, got a job.
Way to go.
So 13 years old, I'm learning how to drive
Yeah.
a tractor. And went to about 18 years old. With that farmer. That farmer was so nice, Don Eames. I learned so much. Kids today can't go to a farm and learn machinery, animals, animal husbandry, and
yeah.
how to use a hammer and
Yeah.
do all that. But I'm not good at any of that stuff. Master of all trades. And that was a good beginning for me, learning right there.
Yeah.
Then after high school, I joined the Air Force.
Okay.
So now, in 4-H club stuff, when we got out of the Air Force, the state of Massachusetts wanted me to work for him to be a milk tester. I was a milk tester.
What does that even mean?
Okay.
This is I clearly am one of those kids that
Here
didn't
we
go
go.
learn animal husbandry.
They sent me to New Hampshire, University of New Hampshire.
Okay.
I was tutored by a professor up there for a Babcock testing license. In other words, back in the day, before computers, I went from farm to farm, taking milk samples, morning and the evening milking, to help the farmer.
You're using your hand, like you're using a test dropper, or you're drinking. You're just sipping.
Stainless steel equipment. You're testing.
okay.
You're putting it in little containers with
Okay, so this is
the
like a
names.
chemical testing.
Then you have
or
to take it
something,
home and
yes.
do the centrifuge and all the testing
Okay.
for butterfat content.
Okay.
So, improvement, dairy herd improvement. You're trying to help that farmer improve their herd
Okay.
for production and butterfat content. So, in other words, and we sent all the paperwork to Cornell. Cornell would process that. Okay, we'd come back. Oh, okay, the farmer. I don't know if I want to do it this way. Feed the cow this and do that. And anyways, I would encourage the farmers, because the Holstein farms are high production, black and white cows, large production, but low butter fat.
Okay.
So I'd encourage them to throw a Jersey in there, throw a couple of Guernseys in there, get that butter fat up there.
Okay.
So we did this for about a year. No money in it.
Yeah.
Driving
I thought
that-
you were drinking milk, so I thought there was at least good taste in milk in this.
I should have been.
Yeah.
I'm driving this Volkswagen in the middle of the winter with chains on it, going
Oh,
to the
man.
farm, and I says, "Oh boy!" So Linda's helping me with the lab work.
Yeah.
Phone rings. Tom here. Tom, this is Gary in Klamath Falls. We want to hire you to do radio and TV electronics. I said, "Okay, I'll call you right back." Boom. We were in Klamath.
That's simple.
A week later, we were back.
Okay. And so this is with the service.
No,
this
I'm
is
out of the service
out
now.
of the service. Okay.
Out of the service to farming, back to Klamath.
Okay.
Working in electronic wholesale supplies.
Okay.
Then a friend came in and said, "Hey, Jack Murdoch up in Pearson is hiring a
Pearson Airport in Vancouver. Yeah.
Piper distributorship."
Okay.
Oh, gave him a call, drove up, the interview, 12 years with him, he died, and then 30 years with Aviol, which is a Boeing-held company now.
Okay. Very cool. Okay, so let's just
Back up.
Let's go back up to the foster home that you were at for 9 years.
Yeah.
What was the Baptist church called?
North Oxford Baptist
If
Church.
only I could say it with the accent.
North.
But yes, North Oxford Baptist Church.
Yeah.
And so you are about how old when you meet the Lord?
7 or 8.
Okay.
Maybe
Okay.
9,
Okay.
fourth, fifth grade.
Okay.
All boys class.
And tell me, so 4th to 5th grade boys, that is cool.
It was
Tom.
a small little church,
Yeah.
and we put on the dinners for the local community. We served people. I was taught how to serve people in that
Yeah.
little church. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me then, what was the impact of following Jesus in your those teen years? Like,
Okay, so you're living with a family you really don't know that well. You don't know what your future is. Where am I going tomorrow? I know where I am today, but trusting in the Lord, sinners saved by grace, trusting in the Lord, that did it. People at the church encouraged me a lot. And the home that I lived in, the lady loved me like her own son. And that was so important. Man, I'm just so blessed that
that's
happened.
cool. I love that. So then, and Linda was a believer too.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
She went to Greenville Baptist Church, just about 3 miles up the road.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So early in life, like when you're flying at we'll get to the flying, but we were in the military, whatnot. Are you following the Lord in all those years? Are there wandering years, or
There's where I begin the back step.
Yeah.
Sorry to step on you on that.
No, you're good.
Okay. So I'm basically working on a typewriter. I'm a buyer. And the major I reported to, he saw something in me that, hey, Flagg, and he was a World War II pilot. He said, "You need to learn how to fly, and we have a club here, and I'm going to get you started on that." Got hooked on the first flight, and then that whole story changes. And married now, and we had Doreen. Doreen was born in 1960. She's 63 now. That's the oldest one. And we weren't going to church. Linda tried to pull me to church, but the airport seemed to be more important to me at that time. So came up here, interviewed with Jack, got the job at Melridge Aviation at Pearson. And one morning, in that inexpensive home we lived in.
Okay, hold on. You got to tell this story.
Stop here and talk about the home?
Time out, because
Time
you're
out.
making a comment to Corey about, I'm putting the tea, time out on Tom's story. So this is 1960-something. You and Linda move up to Vancouver
Yes.
to take this job at Pearson. And when you and Corey Hancock met a couple years ago, Corey, tell this story.
Yeah. So we had just celebrated buying our first home in Vancouver,
Yes.
which is nearly impossible these days. But we do so, and Tom comes up with a word of encouragement for me. He said,
Yeah.
"Corey, I'm really glad you and JC are here, and I'm really glad you got a home here. But here's a little discouraging news. Do you want to know how much we paid for, Linda and I paid for our house back in 1966? How much?
Are you ready?
Are we you comfortable saying this on air?
I'm okay.
Okay.
I'm okay
All right.
with it.
All right.
Let's hear the number.
Okay. The man I work for, Jack Murdoch, who
Yeah.
founded Tektronix, by the way, he says, "Tom, you're going to stay with us for a while?" "Yep." "You want to live over here instead of commuting back and forth from, not Gresham,
Tigard, Clackamas?
yeah, in that area over
Okay.
there. We were commuting.
Yeah.
And, I'd like to live over here." He says, "Okay, I'm going to call my man Bob, and he's going to show you homes." So we found this home on 92nd Ave. Looked at it, all brand new. Dirt piled up all around it. No keys to the place. Well, looking in the windows, tongue and groove hardwood floors, 2-car garage, fireplace, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I called Linda. She was on a little vacation with the girls back in Massachusetts. And
Okay.
Linda, I described it to her.
Yeah.
She says, let's go for it. $14,250. Had to put 2 down on it. Hello.
That's
And
like 2 months of a mortgage payment right now. Right?
Back then with the pay scale, so my pay was, no, not my pay, our payment was $82 a month. And that was a big stretch. And so we made the payments all the years. And we received a congratulatory piece of paper from the bank. Congratulations, you just bought your home. So we're in the same place.
That's amazing,
Only it's
Tom.
been kind of like the barn has been painted a few more times and
Yes.
a couple of roofs and
Okay.
all of this.
That's amazing.
Blessed. We love that little place.
Yes. Okay, so that's the story. So you're telling us that that's the house you're at.
Now.
And we're back to your church.
We
And-
leave the house one Sunday morning to go to breakfast. We
Yeah.
drive by New Heights. Well, it was McLaughlin Heights Baptist Church at
Yeah,
that time.
okay.
On the corner of 87th and Mill Plain.
Okay.
Driving by in the Volkswagen. The 2 girls are in the back, Susan and Doreen. Looking out, and they saw the kids in the parking lot going into the church. Linda and I are saying, we're going downtown to lunch. It's at breakfast. The girls, I don't know which one. How come we don't go there? Look at all those kids. Guilt. Oh, my heavens. Oh, boy. Wow.
Powerful opportunity to lead your family there, huh? Yeah.
I don't know if it was Doreen or Sue. I'm not sure if we turned around and went back, but I'm telling you, I'm glad we went back.
Yeah.
That was in 1966, I believe. And we met so many nice people at we'll call it New Heights.
Yeah.
And when we moved down here, we wanted to keep the word Heights in the word in
Yeah.
there, so we called this place New Heights.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a fun story about this church name because a lot of people ask, well, what does New Heights mean? And it's really just that the original church
Yeah.
was in McLaughlin Heights, the neighborhood McLaughlin Heights. And so when we outgrew that building, I say we as if I was there, but I feel like it's my spiritual heritage. So when you and others, when we outgrew, you came here and purchased this property from James Patton and just
Yeah.
called it the New Heights.
Yeah, just New Heights.
Yeah.
So anyways, so we were getting very involved in the church. And I was asked to be an usher.
Mm-hmm.
But I was a heavy smoker at that time. Yeah, I had a pack of cigarettes in my pocket, but no one judged me for that. The Lord talked to my heart about that. And I asked the Lord, help me get rid of this habit. And I did. And then I was asked to try working with kids. And Linda joined me. Went from there. And then singing came along. Oh, we had a choir, but then we had a 4-part harmony quartet.
Whoa.
Oh, do I love quartet.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know this about you, Tom.
We had that for about almost 10 years. We had a repertoire of about 50 numbers, and then we would minister the people of our church. Men's retreat up at Lake
Retreat.
Lake Retreat so many times in
So
churches
what
in the
was
port.
your part? What were you?
Second tenor.
Second tenor.
The 2 are still here at this church.
Who's that?
Danny Freeman.
Okay.
Danny Freeman can break glass. He is a top tenor. Let me tell you.
I like that.
That guy can go through the glass ceiling. Anyways, so we had John Anderson and Skip Lane was the baritone.
Okay.
John Anderson was bass. And we did it not just to entertain people, but there was a message in all those old time songs. And that was fun. That was really a lot of fun.
That is really cool, Tom, that 3 of those 4 guys are still here. I'll tell you today, this morning.
Actually 2, I
or 2.
think. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
you're the 3rd.
But they're all alive.
Yeah, that's impressive too. Okay.
They're still above ground.
I was at East Vancouver campus this morning, and somebody came up and said they had heard somewhere along the way they'd heard me say that I grew up here at New Heights, and she said I'm just so impressed at how many kids have grown up here and stayed and stepped into roles of leadership, and impressed is one way to look at it. I'm glad. I'm just so grateful, but I think of it when that's possible when I look at the stability that you guys have provided. That there's generations like you and these other men that have stayed committed. You say you're so glad that your girls pointed out those kids at McLaughlin Heights and you guys turned around and went back, but really we are so glad, Tom. I mean the you're highlighting a couple of ways you've served, but if the list keeps going, which I want it to keep going, we need to highlight you also were the soda machine man for many years. You know what I'm talking about?
I do. I'd like to talk about bus ministry in a minute.
Oh, yes. We're going to get to the bus ministry.
Oh, good.
But first, we got to hit one of my faves, which was the soda machine man. Tom, at any outdoor picnic or like fall carnival, any of these big events, we used to have these fountain soda machines.
Yes.
And Tom was the guy. We were only given Dixie cups. I do wonder about that. They didn't give us very big cups.
Yeah.
We had to fill them up a lot. But Tom was busy. He was running those things. He's done data entry. So every Sunday when our connection cards come in, a team of people get together and work on that information.
And that
Tom
team
did that.
of people,
Yeah.
great people.
Yes,
We get
yeah.
real close. It's like a community group.
Yeah. He also caught a bird once at data entry. Do you remember this? A swift flew into the building.
Yes.
And
No, I don't think I'm the one that caught it. Someone else did.
well, you are the one that the story, as the story goes, Tom Flagg caught the swift
Oh.
and got him out of the building. So,
Oh.
so there you go.
Tell me more.
He was here. I got more. He was the club junior high pilot.
So go into my head right now. Go ahead.
The club junior high pilot. So before Club Mid, which is
Oh
one of our
my.
biggest summer programs, we have, I think, over 200 students come to Club Mid, middle schoolers.
Yes.
Club Mid originated as Club Junior High in like 97, 98. And I don't know if insurance writers, I don't know what the deal was, but our like afternoon activities, I think now they go to Sky Zone or I don't know if you guys know where they go. They go do some little fun.
fun.
Yeah. We used to go flying with Tom Flagg. That's what we did. we got put in a car. We'd bus down to Pearson Airport or Portland even, I think. And Tom, do you remember this? And you'd put a bunch of us middle schoolers in there.
Yeah, it could have been that or Evergreen before it
Oh,
closed.
Evergreen. Maybe
Tom,
that's where it was.
Yeah.
Is it
you're
true?
close.
This is just a rumor I heard, but you would kill the engines, mid-flight, and just ask the kids, "Do you know Jesus?
No.
Do you know where you're going?"
No.
And I heard there were record salvations that summer.
No.
That would be one way to do it.
Oh
Yes.
my gosh.
No, what he would do though, which was so sweet. I mean, Tom, I remember flying with you clear as day. I loved it. You flew us over and you told us all to look for the big blue roof because there was a blue roof at that
Yes.
point. So we found New
Yes.
Heights.
Yeah.
And then you would ask us where we went to school or where we lived. And then you would kind of give us you'd zoom us over by those areas, which was such a cool opportunity.
I don't know if you were involved in this, but one of our summer activities, we had a flying thing out at Evergreen. So I rounded up about 5 or 6 other pilots, and we had the planes all lined up. So families came out there, and we gave, I think it was a 2-day event. We gave over 200 rides.
I think this was a summer festival event. Yeah, I'm remembering this.
It
And
was
this is
so much fun doing
Yeah.
that. No one died. It all worked out good.
well, that's one marker of a good event.
Yeah. Also, back when fuel was 99 cents a gallon, right?
Oh, no. When we first came here in 66, we drove, it was 68. We had people didn't have SUVs and the vans that you have today. They
Yeah.
had station wagons. And our Pontiac station wagon had a 400 horsepower engine, 25 cents a gallon. Yeah,
That'd be something.
yeah.
So here's the thing, Tom. We just flew through all these things: usher, singer, soda machine man, all this stuff, bus ministry, which we're going to get to. And I love that that's the one that you jumped to, because what you never will make the headline is that you also served as an elder of New Heights on the board for a long, long time as well. And I mean, I think that's just something remarkable. And when people say your name, as Corey said, he heard about you long before he met you, because you have a servant's heart. And, when you talk about you learned to serve at the North Oxford Baptist Church,
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
man, we have benefited from that. So talk
Thank
to us
you.
about the bus ministry.
Bus ministry.
Yes.
John Anderson, the pastor at that time,
You know what I love? Do you know we have a Johnny Henderson on staff now?
Anderson.
Oh, Anderson.
Anderson.
Okay, there we go. I'm like, this is tripping me out. We've
You're
got
close.
a young, yeah.
Swedish.
Yes.
And he challenged me. He says, "Tom, we need to get a bus ministry going." He told me all about it. And I said, wow, I prayed about it. Let's go for it. So he and I jumped on a plane. And of course,
And walk people through. They may not know what a bus ministry is because it's not common now.
okay, a bus ministry is this. You take a bus or buses and you go out into the community and you pick up families and bring them to church. And that's what we did. We brought
And
them
this
to
is
church.
a different era. I mean, it's not something
Yeah,
now that
no.
makes as much sense in our culture. But
That's
my
right.
grandma, my mom's mom, that's how she got to Sunday school, was a bus. She was up in Everett, Washington, and the bus would come by, and her and her sister would get on and go to Sunday school. So
Exactly. Bring right
Yeah.
into the arms
Yep.
of Jesus right here in this building. I can give you a little more detail on that.
Yeah, keep going.
So anyways, to learn more about it, John said there's a conference going on at Thomas Road Baptist Church in Lynchburg, Virginia. So being a Piper aircraft guy working down here, I asked the people that I work with, hey, can I go down to Vero Beach and pick up a plane and then we'll fly up there and fly it home for you? Yeah. So John and I flew to Florida, picked up a plane in Vero, flew up to Lynchburg. Wow, that was something. The speakers, the singing, the worship service, we stayed with a neat family. Got all charged up, got the books, came back, and we started. And John had connections with a bus company in St. Paul, all used buses. So we were able to scrape up a few old buses and paint them red, white, and blue once they got here.
Yeah.
We were lucky they got here. You know, they're on a wing and a prayer trying to get out here, most of them.
We've got some photographs of these. You know what? Show notes.
Yeah.
Newheights.org. Show notes. And I'll get a picture of this bus and Tom. I think we got Tom with the bus.
Well, we have quite a few people. What a team that was.
Yeah.
We met every Saturday, had a breakfast, had a prayer meeting. We'd get charged up, go out on Saturdays and visit in the neighborhoods and enlist people. And those were the days we didn't have to worry too much about, we'd drive into the neighborhood with the station wagon, drop the tailgate, and kids would jump on the car, and they'd be riding around in the neighborhood on the tailgate, legs dangling like that.
Yeah.
Not allowed today.
Not allowed today. No. We do not encourage our children's ministry workers to do this now.
Saturday visitation, had a team for that. And bus teams. And then we had a phone team. So each Sunday morning we had a team that would call the people. Hi, the bus will be by at 9:20. Bye now. Boom. Call each family. They had a list. Then we'd have the bus teams, all the different drivers, go out and pick up. The riders were mostly kids. But we had a few adults ride. What a joy. Our kids, I remember our daughters, and Gail and Vern Emily.
Oh, yeah.
Vern
These
was
are
one
names. If you've been around New
I'm
Heights,
sorry, I'm missing so many names, but Gail and Fletcher and, Ron Wagner and so many others drove the bus for me. Dale Johnson, he was one of, and Dale would, be out on the state patrol all night. And he wouldn't go to bed. He would come here to church and drive that bus.
Do you know Dale Johnson? So if you're listening to this, there's a baptism here at the Central Vancouver campus. What service, Corey? Do you know?
11 o'clock.
11 o'clock. And that's Dale Johnson's grandson.
He was in my class.
Oh, that's so cool.
I was so excited to see that today.
Yeah.
So we had there's so many people that are legends here at this church for Christ.
Yeah.
So that's how that went. And, we had competition. How many can you get into your bus this weekend?
Okay.
You have an 80-passenger bus, so let's put 120 in there.
Oh, boy.
Well, they told us at the conference, if you pack them in like sardines, they'll never get hurt.
I suppose that's true. This is when we know there's multiple things that were different in this cultural moment.
If you're happy and you know it, say amen. And the old bus would just rock, and we had a sound system in there. And when we'd pull into the yard, people would greet us. Oh, it was so much fun. Well, we had teachers ready for them.
Yeah.
That was quite a ministry. Do you know we have some adults attending New Heights to this very day as a result of that ministry?
I believe it. Tom, we say here at New Heights that we're all about the next generation. And I think it's evident to anybody who's around when you watch the summer programs and then just all the resources we try to put into our kids and middle school, high school programming. But all of that is only possible because the generation before opened the door. And I just, that's so much what you embody to me is the generations, you've held on to that value from when you were the next generation. You were the young person stepping in, being introduced to Christ, and then have just carried it forward. So how did you, when did you transition into the classroom to teaching fourth and fifth? And has it always been fourth and fifth grade boys?
Could have been. I think it was during the bus ministry.
Okay.
So what are you going to do when you're not on the bus?
Yeah.
Right? Got to do something.
And you're not singing or ushering or...
I don't want to usher.
Yeah.
I want to go in that class, and
this.
do the lesson plan. And it was tougher in those days because we didn't have a staff producing the program. Today, it's so easy for me. As I get older, it's a lot easier because the staff produces the lesson on the video.
Yeah.
And basically, I greet the kids, love on the kids, and all of that. I have my helpers in there. I do an introduction on the whiteboard to the lesson. We go over that, do the verse, then hit the video. So it's a lot easier.
It's more the people in the classroom now are facilitating relationships more. Is that what you would say, Corey?
Yeah,
Definitely.
Yeah, but you need to open the Word and study the lesson before you get here. I mean, that's
Absolutely,
a good idea.
Yeah. I just noticed you got the Adventure Bible. I love that.
I do, because that's what the kids have.
Yeah.
So when I get up there, okay, Daniel, what page? They're yelling the page number. Okay, there you go.
Yeah. So you've been doing this for 40-some years.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us, Matt Edmonds. What was he really like in the classroom? Did you have Matt?
He wasn't a terror.
Okay, well, that's good.
A Tara.
But I would get terrified with some of them.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I don't recall him as being out of control. I could just tell his dad.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You could just go tell Craig. There you go. Yeah.
I was gonna say, with that timeline here, who haven't you had in your class?
I know.
Like,
I just forget names. I forget names. It's so easy.
can you tell me though, over the years, who's the worst staff kid you've had?
Was it Matt?
Can
Was
you share
it Matt
that
Edmonds?
information?
No.
As I say, you just wait till Everett comes through.
The Hancock boys are coming down the line, Tom. And
Well, then
you
I'll
may
just-
want to retire by then.
I'm just hoping the bar's been set pretty high that they can't.
I'll keep him in the
See it.
state. I'll send him to Everett. Okay, we'll be
There
fine.
you go. So, Tom, when you look at teaching 4th and 5th grade boys, do you have highlight moments, like certain years or students that you do remember that are kind of the highlight to you? Because you're here week in, week out, which really is actually the gift of the church, is the consistency. But yeah, what stands out to you?
What stands out to me is that there's consistency every week, the same kids. They're not jumping around to different sites. They're coming every week, and there's a bonding that's really good. If I mention names, that would show favoritism, I think, but in my head, I can think of a boy that, I'm going to say his name.
Okay.
His name is Lincoln, and my dad's name was Lincoln. Lincoln S. Flagg, and I call him Link. And sharp kid. They're all sharp in my class. And we've established a nice bond in there. But they're all very unique. I think that my class is 50-50, girls and boys. And I like the room we're in because they have many stations to go to, and they can bond with each other. And I'm putting them to work on my whiteboard, helping me. Like I had one kid doing Mordecai, and one doing King Xerxes today, and one doing Queen Vashti and Queen Esther.
Okay.
It's amazing how they do it. If I start one, they'll come over and correct me. I did a king last week.
So what do you mean? You're like drawing it? Or
I'm drawing,
okay.
the crown on the head and the belt and the sword and
I
all
love
that.
this.
And they'll go up there and look at it and they'll raise. There's just a head. There's just a head. Okay, what are you doing here? Then let them be creative.
Yeah. Oh, it's fun.
Oh, it's so much fun. That they'll be closer to Christ.
Yeah.
And today it wasn't in the lesson plan, but I wanted to tell a story about myself and how I came to know Jesus in my Sunday school class when I was their age.
Yeah.
I don't want to miss that opportunity with the kids.
And so you're saying you did that today? You told
I
them.
did.
Yeah. I
Not
love that.
every Sunday, but
Yeah.
I did that today.
Yeah.
I kind of went off the reservation, but came back on. It's like flying an airplane. You want to keep that compass course and your altitude just right. But you got to you got to do the special thing once in a while.
Yeah, but I mean that's a value too in kids ministry, is that you're sharing with them as well. You're not just providing a space for them to bond together, but likewise, and that's part of that generational investment that I think is special.
So you asked me about a lot of stuff. A calling to lead and inspire others for Christ.
So, Tom, when you're in the classroom with these 4th and 5th grade kids, because it is boys and girls, you said now.
Yeah,
okay, I didn't realize that. Sorry. So, when you're in the classroom with these kids, what is it? Obviously, you want them to know, to know and follow Jesus. But when you're, what is it that you're hoping for these kids?
Maturity in Christ. We have problems in the world. They're so innocent. They're probably not heavy into the problems that the parents are going through right now. We're all going through in this life right now.
Yeah, they're kind of right at that age, where they're unaware and gonna be aware soon.
They're going off into middle school. I used to call it junior high. Yeah, so just want to share a little about my life and some of the struggles I've gone through. Don't scare them too much, and that God has blessed me. I'm here. There's a reason for it. There's a reason for it that I'm here. God's put me here. I want to be here and pass on what I have for you, and it comes from Christ. And I told him today, you're all entitled to this gift, and it's free. And you can go from here, and you can be a behind-the-scenes person and still serve. And what's character? We talked about character today. When you're doing something good and serving people, you're not worried about who's watching you. This is kind of cool.
When we're serving for the Lord, it doesn't matter what's the...
That's awesome.
There's so much, to that. And I'm just blessed that I have the health at my age right now. I can continue to do this.
Yeah. Tom, I think one of the coolest parts about your story, especially when it pertains to kids and the next generation, is your willingness to participate in all sorts of different ministry models.
Yeah.
Because you've been around, the best ministry, who knows, I think, when I was a kid growing up here, it was Sunday school. Then it was Kids Zone for a long time. Now we call it New Heights Kids. And each of those names is representative of all sorts of different curriculum, different style of teaching, different, like you said, you play a video now. And I just love that you embrace it. I think it's a unique piece of your leadership, is your willingness to jump in and say, whatever God's using right now to reach kids, I want to be a part of.
And because I like music so much, what I do is I bring my JBL. You all know what that is?
Oh, yeah. Bluetooth speaker kind of thing.
There you go. Spotify.
Very impressive, Tom.
Points of Grace. I have that music blasting while I regulate the volume.
Yeah.
Cut out
You
the
can blast
commercials.
it. We won't tell you.
No Fred Meyer commercials on this one. Anyways, we pray.
He pays for the premium.
But my daughter Doreen introduced me to Points of Grace, 3 gals.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they love Points of Grace. So the music is going in there,
Yes.
and depending on the size of the crowd, I'll up with the volume, down the volume. But there's a nice atmosphere going, with a message.
Yeah.
There's a good message in their songs.
Absolutely.
None of that jazz or anything.
Well,
right?
only when you come in.
Okay. All right.
Corey, just talk to us a little bit about children's ministry, where you guys are at right now. And I know what Tom means to you, but maybe even cast a vision of what is it that you hope to see leaders stepping into when they come join the team? Yeah.
I've been so encouraged of late at the influx of leaders that, Megan and our team has been doing interview after interview of new person on ramp. So that's been huge. But then not just the quantity of those leaders, the quality of them. And what a funny story was, I was helping in babies. We had a few cancellations, anyways. I'm helping in there. There's a little boy who won't stop fussing, and the couple is in my community group, so I know the boy. And I was about to suggest, to the lady who had him, her first week serving, you might want to do and put him over in the bopper or whatever. And right as I'm about to do that, a side conversation started with the other gal, who's her daughter-in-law. Daughter-in-law goes, "Oh yeah, have you met my mom? She's ran a daycare for 27 years."
Oh man!
I'm so glad I didn't say anything, but that just speaks to one, the gal, she's a mom, the other, she's a grandma and has run a daycare for 27 years. It's just, thank you, Lord, for these quality individuals who know how to care for kids. They get it in terms of the value of kids ministry. I always make a press for. I try not in my friend group to guilt my friends into kids ministry, because it's what I do. But man, you just see the value of men serving in that ministry. Our ratio would be 5% men, 95% females.
Well, Tom, I think of your story. You're in a foster home, and you're saying the pastor himself is who taught your class and the impact. So, Corey, to your point, I can see completely what you're saying.
There's just a connect that can happen in, young boys or girls that don't have a dad in the picture. Right, and there's just, even today, I was in the littles at the 8 o'clock, and a girl comes in, goes puts her arms up to me. I pick her up, and I held her the rest of the time. She was not going to anyone else. And Mom said, yeah, she's like that with guys. She'll just connect. And so, to me, I try to put genuine pleas out there to people, men specifically, of like, why not kids ministry? And I get, like, you know, JC is a stay-at-home mom 24/7, and at that stage of life, it can be like, the last thing I want to do is be around kids.
Yeah.
So this is my one breather. I get that, but at the same time, there's nothing like investing in the next generation of Christ followers and future church leaders. And JC and I got to serve in 4th and 5th grade at the 11 o'clock today. And just the conversations we were having in the small group discussion, I was like, these kids are thinking already theologically. How do I know what is right and wrong? How do I choose what is right? How do I always know what is right? And these are the questions that are surfacing with 4th and 5th graders. And
it's easy to think of it's easy to think of it as childcare, right? I mean, there's an element where even being asked to volunteer, you can think like, okay, well, I guess I could show up and just supervise, kind of. At least that's where my mind can go. But the times I have been able to serve in New Heights Kids and be a part of it, I am floored every time at where these kids are at spiritually, their interests, their awareness, their knowledge. I mean, they're paying attention.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think you're the aunt or the mom picking the kid up after class, drive home. What'd you learn today? And, you know, you could be pretty defeated sometimes. Kids don't always pop off with, they'll tell you they had, I don't know, the song that they sang or the picture they colored, but they're not necessarily going to be able to repeat back to you to the lesson. And so sometimes in those week-to-week moments, it can feel a little bit like, what's happening there? But man, the consistency over time.
Yep.
Yeah.
I had a young girl show up for our class just recently, a new girl. She came to the door, parents brought her to the door, and she was very serious looking around the room. What am I getting into? I introduced myself, brought her in, and I took her to one of the venues there, and she sat down, and the other girls were drawing and doing things. So she was just sitting there and just felt alone. So one of my other gals, who's very popular in the class, I took her off to one side, and I said, see that gal over there? I had her name. Why don't you go over and introduce yourself to her and just sit next to her and have some fun, talk to her and all that? She did. So they had a good thing going. The next week, that gal came in with a big smile. She wanted to, she didn't pause at the door. She came through, fist bump, off to see the kids. And you've put it so eloquently. I appreciate what you just said, Corey. You have the demeanor for what you're doing. You're the right guy.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, he does. And I mean, talk about men being in children's ministry. I mean, Corey, the blessing he's been to our, not just this campus where he is generally on Sundays, but to global, to kids ministry, to have an invested man in kids' lives. It just can't be underestimated.
Don't be discouraged. That's what Scripture says. Don't get discouraged.
Yeah. Yep. So, Tom.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us.
Oh.
I just have to say I'm so grateful for you being here with us today, and also for just a massive, massive investment. It's just we've tried to capture a bit of the investment you've put into New Heights.
Thank you.
But
I want a personal thanks too. One, yesterday was Veterans Day.
Yes.
So thank you for your service.
You're welcome.
We got a handshake going on here in the podcast if you can't see.
United States Air Force.
And obviously, I try to thank you every week for what you do in kids ministry. But what some people don't know is that Tom kind of sneaks out 10 minutes before class ends.
Yeah.
So he can go pick up his wife, Linda, and bring her to church to attend the 11 o'clock. And I just get a snapshot of the husband I want to be in the years to come, and how you care for Linda in light of her health and challenges now.
I'm the caretaker.
Thank you for doing that well.
Thank you.
It doesn't go unnoticed. To talk about the behind-the-scenes character,
Oh, wow.
I get to see it every week from you.
So you're praying for all those lights to go green when I get her?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, actually, on that note, Tom, so you go get Linda, come
Yes.
back to attend
Bring her
church
back.
together. Yes. And is it true you sit in the same spot of the auditorium, or you have at times chosen to sit in the same spot? So
Our name's on that seat.
Okay, but with intention. It's not like you like the view.
Someone was sitting in our chair the other day.
Yeah.
Two ladies were talking. The service was over.
Yeah.
We came in. I'm with Tom Rosendale, and Tom and I are talking and all that. The ladies are talking. They're sitting in Linda's chair.
Yeah.
And hi, how you doing? And the lady looked up at me. Oh, am I sitting in your chair? I said, no problem. I'm going to go get a coffee. You have 5 minutes.
I love it.
They never came back.
Oh, there you go. There you go. We got to send a friend over like you did in Sunday school and say, hey, can you chat with them? No, but you do it right with intention. So you get to know people in that area. And it's...
Love the Lord, love people.
Yeah, love the Lord and love
A
people.
life
Well,
of service.
Yeah.
And you model well.
That's your legacy here, Tom, and we're grateful for it. And I'm grateful to be someone
Thank you.
in a generation behind you who wants to keep going behind you, and also to look back and say, how can I inspire the next generation to Jesus?
Thank you.
Yeah,
Amen.
yeah, we're grateful for you.